And we are live.
Ayo, it's time to go. Yeah, you know what it is. Get into it. Don't act like you don't already know the name. Let's go. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? You heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. Now it's on.
Whew, welcome, everyone. Welcome to What Happens When a Mother and Son Make Sense Out of Nonsense,
Plus more.
plus so much more, so much more. We are live on YouTube and we are live on Noom Vibe. And Noom Vibe, you are all welcome to ask to join the stage. What happens when a mother and son make sense out of nonsense, plus more. And I'll look down occasionally. This is a show
That we talk about our growth, our spiritual growth. We talk about our mother and son relationships, all of the trials and tribulations and triumphs along the way. And we like to sprinkle in as much falderall and nonsense and malarkey and balderdash as possible. So stick around. You're in for quite a ride.
quite a ride. And I would advise you to put seatbelts on, a crash helmet, and a hazmat suit, because if he doesn't push your buttons, I know I will. If he doesn't trigger you, I know I will. What's up?
That's one of the benefits of our show is if one of us doesn't trigger you, the other one will. If you don't think the other one's funny, one of them's funny. What? You heard me.
You heard all of us. Before, let's do a little bit of business. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. And my latest book, Program for Unhappiness, you can get it on Amazon and also Barnes and Noble and Lulu, Exposing the Untold Truth. I have to say it is quite a hit. It is my masterpiece, and I have 10 reviews already on Amazon. Thank you, and they're all good.
They better be.
Good. Oh, and looking for sponsors. Yes, we are always searching for sponsors. So please contact us, Voss Water. It is the wetter, better water. Voss Water contacts us for some sponsorship. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So one of our segments we do is Word of the Week, where we introduce a word. Maybe we've heard it before, maybe not, but it's certainly not in our running vocabulary. So what my word of the week is emanate. Emanate. Emanate, like Nate, but with Emma in the front.
Emma, Nate.
Emanate. And it is, some synonyms are to give off, to exude, to send out. The definition is originate from, be produced by, or express a quality of feeling through the way something looks or behaves.
What?
Her face, her sentence is, her face emanated sadness.
Oh, emanated. Okay, emanates. So
Emanates.
it's a space emanates. It's a description of how something looks.
Yeah, description. Description. It's a verb, and it's usually, I think, related to an emotion.
Well, here we go with my word, and now you know the difference between us two. My word is discombobulated,
All right, all right, all right.
which means confused, disconnected, disconcerted. He's looking a little pained and discombobulated. And the confounded, bewildered. And the funny thing, Nathan, there's also a word combobulate. So you can be discombobulated or you can be combobulated. But some of the synonyms for discombobulated are, put your seatbelts on for this one. It's a new word too. It's called cattywampus. Cattywampus, which is another word of disarray, askew, or something that's not directly across. Cattywampus.
Well, we sure are racking up our words of nonsense. That was 2 words of nonsense, and then 3 if you count combobulated. I didn't know that combobulated was its own word. To put
Yes,
combobulated, to put together in order. So discombobulated would be the opposite.
you got it. Next topic.
All right. Well, where are we at? Where are you at?
Okay, this is where I'm at. This has been a week of looking in the mirror. Of course, I share, as a happiness specialist, I share that all of your solutions, all of your challenges, all of the answers are found in the mirror. And it pains me to say that, but it is the truth. And my week has been a week of conscious transcending, which means I've had so many opportunities. I'll give you a perfect example. Someone in my life has been grandfathered in, and the past, when I say grandfather, and I'm talking about decades. And the pattern of the relationship is, let me just be clear: mean text, next mean text, mean text, next mean text. And I've softened, and it's been months and possibly year that I've sent mean text, but for some reason my ego just wanted to send a mean text, because I was asked to do a favor and there was no thank you. I was asked to find directions. I mean, listen, anybody can find directions on with their phone, but can you find these directions? Which means it was just a ploy. Scratch the ploy. It was a reason to call. It was an excuse to call me. Find these directions. You don't have a phone anyway. There was no thank you. And then there was another question that I texted, and I said, well, if you're in town, what about Friday? What about we can hang out Friday or Saturday? No response. And after no response, especially this grandfathered in person, I sent this long text. I didn't send it. I typed it out. Thank you. What did I? Oh, I appreciate your non-thank you. And I went into, well, what else did I say about not responding and typical heartlessness and rude, all of the things. And I was right there, and I already knew my ego was in charge. I was acting in my human self, but I could just taste the send button. I could just taste it. And I called our friend and I said, do I transcend now? Can I have a little time to transcend? Can I not transcend for another few days? And he said, transcend now. So of course I deleted the text. So I'm on it. And this is the second thing. I am going to stop. I'm practicing stop listening to my mind. It's over. The mind the mind, it always is occupied, and I put it on notice. I'm going to stop listening to it. It's over. It's over, Johnny. And that's me in a nutshell.
I love that. Can it transcend now or later? Because I'm grieving today. I'm grieving
Sorry
the
to
day.
laugh.
Yeah, I'm grieving the days of getting angry and then not really thinking about it or not having any awareness around it. I'm grieving the days of listening to my mind and having hour-long conversations in my head that aren't even real. Grieving the days of just letting life go by unaware. I mean, those really were the good old days. To my ego, they were. And it's, that transcend now or later is such a good point, because I was thinking this little behaviors and actions that I do that I would say I'm not transcending. Why not just transcend it now? And to me, that's it's a welcome sacrifice. Yes, we're going to put this down. Yes, this is over. Like you talk about the dairy. I think, I don't know if you're off dairy still, but just something that we've done a lot and it's just over.
Yeah, I don't eat dairy. Very, very rare, even though today they're celebrating Thanksgiving. And I am going to take my dairy tablet because I got to have my mac and cheese, homemade macaroni and cheese. I got to have it. I got to have it. Health be damned. But back to the topic.
Well, no, that is the topic because listen, mac and cheese once in a while, whatever it is, ego's going to get it in once in a while, but it's getting so squished out. And why not just keep squishing it out? And those days really are behind me. And that grandfathered in, that was a topic I wrote down a couple weeks ago, which I think is such a good topic because the people, the relationships that we've had for so long, I see myself accepting behavior that really isn't acceptable to me. It might not be unacceptable for them, but for me and relationships and who I'm going to text and who I'm going to call and who I'm going to hang out with, it's not acceptable, but I let it slide because I've basically just known them so long. Or maybe we were close at a certain point and now things have shifted.
So that's a good question. And so how do you navigate with relationships that have been grandfathered in? You're stuck with them. And I say that in a loving way, wink, wink. If you're watching me live on YouTube, I'm winking. Yeah, you're stuck with them in a way, grandfathered in. However, when you said put up with certain things, and it is an acceptance, but my solution is just not hating on them, not because if I'm hating on them, I'm hating on myself, is just distance. So I'm not going to hang out or talk to on a regular basis. It's kind of like, not to say there's any, I love your relationship with one of your friends and you talk to each other once in a while and but there's, you just jump back in it. There's no, why didn't you call me? I haven't talked to you in a long time. And that means you don't care, all of that. I love that, just the distance, just distance it out. And then I find that I have more compassion, patience, acceptance for these people that I can't stand. I mean, these people that are grandfathered in and with distance.
Yeah, to bring it back to simplicity, that's a principle I use with everything if I can remember to. It's either I'm going away from it or I'm going towards it. And what are my clues? What are my intuitions? What are my signs? What are my inspirations that I'm getting from the universe, that I'm getting from my higher self, my inner self? Is it telling me to distance or telling me to move closer or telling me to not do anything at all? And for me, when I'm feeling that heat of a text, I got to send this, I got to tell them that, tell them off this, that's usually a distance.
Not usually, yeah, distance and all that. And then you said something, it's drama. Am I causing drama or am I causing peace? I mean, I'm the most powerful, and people listening, audience, you're the most powerful too. So am I going to be creating peace or drama? It's a simple question, but I'm going to stop listening to my mind. I'm done. When I listen to my mind, I'm not in the present moment. And I was practicing this morning, and it is a practice. I was practicing this morning, and I found myself enjoying just the shower, looking at the soap. Oh, look at my hand. Little things like that. But the mind is so distracting, and it's taken up so much of my time. I'm in the fourth quarter, 68, soon to be 69. I'm done. I've stopped listening to my mind. It's a practice, though. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, that sounds like meditation to me. Just the mind's always got something to say, and we can meditate on the breath, brushing our teeth, the water, our footsteps, whatever. It's just focusing on the present moment and what is real and what is not real. And the mind is not real. And I just wanted to say one last thing about the grandfather relationships and the grief. I know I was joking earlier about the grief, but there is a mourning of these relationships that have been in my life for years, and some of them decades, that are just not the same. For whatever reason, I don't know. There's no story behind if it's them or me. I'm getting punished. God's taking them away from me. There's no story. It's just different. So, yes, I'm going to, write my obituary, celebrate, and honor what was and honor what is.
Well, I'm going to throw this out. I always want something. When I say the word I very consciously, what I am I talking about? Because I always want something. And you, who I am, who the you is always satisfied. So it's a difference between the I and who and the you, if that makes sense. And by the way, I don't want to start pushing your buttons, but grieving and mourning are all programs. Next topic.
Well, I'll have to read your book for more information about that.
Like that's going to happen.
As we talked about before, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, as we talked about before, I lived the book, and I think that's very clear.
And what does that mean? You lived the book, but you didn't learn anything yet.
That's right. I'm learning right now.
Get it? I have a new segment. This package just arrived. I'm gonna lift it up. It's a big package. If you're watching on YouTube, it's a big package, and someone
it looks pretty light.
It is light. It's very light. That's why I can lift it up. The CEO of OWL. OWL is an app. It's an app that connects you with people all over the country, and you can download it for free. But the CEO of the OWL app sent me this surprise. I'm going to send you a surprise, Rebecca. And I'm not a fan of surprises. It's very difficult. If you want to give me a gift, Marshall's gift certificate, or just a gift certificate that covers all stores, or some cash. But surprising me with this, let's see the reaction. This is a live on camera. I haven't opened it yet. I cut it open. Let's see if I'm going to like this or not. Is everybody ready?
I love this segment. This is reminding me of holidays spent living with my mother, and she would get gifts from her students and gifts from people at work, and we would have a reveal party. And this is reminiscent of what we used to do. The gifts were usually sweet sentiment, but usually not quite hitting the mark. So I don't know if the CEO of OWL can score on this one. I'm thinking, I don't know, probably not in a big box. Also, gift certificate from Marshall's. Wow, that's wow.
Wow.
Very interesting.
What is this?
That's
This is
cool.
a bouquet. It's a bouquet of $2 bills. Are these $2 bills real?
They look real to me. Now that is into, we were just asking for cash, so that's a little cash and a gift. That's really nice, actually.
I take all of that back. Yes, you can give me gifts if it's real money.
Wow. I that's very creative, and it's got money. I love that energy of just cash, and especially $2 bills. I've always liked $2 bills.
Scratch that with it if it's just money. But it says Christian Dior. So this is a designer gift from Christian Dior. Kind of cool, huh?
Yeah. So what are you rating it from 1 to 10 on a gift for you?
I'm going to give it a 10.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I like it. I like it because it's different, and it does have cash. But the black flower threw me off. Hold on a second. But it's very different and very unique. I like it. But yes. Christian Dior. Not that I'm a label. Yes. I was almost discombobulated for a minute, not knowing what to think.
Yeah, I thought you were going to emanate anger and resentment, and you were emanating joy and pleasantry.
And that's why you always stay in the moment. You never know. Be at peace. Be okay with uncertainty. And I'm about to cough. Take it away.
Well, I'll just do a segment. We pop on little for little segments here, and this is a health segment because I did a little research, and I think this is about lemon water, and I wanted to look up some of the benefits of lemon water and also some things to look out for with drinking lemon water. And I've read it before, but I just always forget, so I wanted to go back. And you do lemon water in the morning too, right?
Yes, I do. But I have to say, living in Oregon, these lemons that, unless you get organic, these lemons at Costco, they're not even real lemons. That lemon doesn't even taste like a lemon anymore. This produce, it's really very, it's just not real food. It's food filled with chemicals and sprays, and I can taste the difference. So, yeah, it's yes, but I got an organic lemon yesterday from Sprouts.
Yeah, that makes me want to go back to a place like Oregon. So, so the some of the health benefits of lemons is it's got vitamin C. It's a whole lemon's got about half of your daily dose of vitamin C, fiber, citric acid, and iron. And just be careful. These are things that I learned. Is it lemon water does cause erosion, enamel erosion. So it's recommended to drink it through a straw. And if you do drink lemon water, to rinse your mouth out afterwards and not to brush for about an hour because the teeth are sensitive after drinking lemon water if it's not rinsed out.
And who drinks everything from a straw?
Yeah, you do. You do. Another one where you've pulled ahead here.
Yes, everything except for coffee, if I'm drinking coffee, but everything is from a straw.
Yeah, coffee through a straw sounds crazy.
You know what? I'm going to start drinking coffee through a straw because now that you said that, I'm going to be challenged because I am crazy and I'm embracing it. Coffee through a straw. Let's go.
And then the other thing too, the last thing about lemon water is it can cause and irritate canker sores, which I don't know if anyone has those, but I get those occasionally. So I didn't even know that. But I guess because of the citrus acid, or it can cause a canker sore or irritate ones that I already have.
Well, I never get canker sores, so we know who you got your canker sores from.
Oh, I didn't know
Never.
that.
Never, no canker sores for me. Let's go on a fun tip. I saw this. I'm pulling it up or showing it on YouTube. If you're watching live or listening, welcome, Noon Vibe. If you want to join the show, just ask to join the stage. It's a cartoon, and it says, "To anybody I offended this year, work on yourself so I don't got to do it again in 2025."
Wow.
To anybody I offended this year, work on yourself so I don't got to do it again in 2025.
Well, that's funny. I like the sentiment. Not
I
quite
love
not quite the sweetest delivery, but I get the message.
Listen, the truth hits hard, and the truth hurts, and the truth is the truth. I can't offend you. I can't hurt your feelings, but I know you were programmed to believe that. Next topic.
All right. Well, my topic is loving. Well, actually, let's go to transcendent because you talked about transcendence in the beginning. And my question is, how do I know the difference between changing myself or transcending? Do we really change who we are, or is it a transcendence? And what is the difference?
What a great question. Okay, right off the top of my head, transcending to me means knowing the truth about my identity. Who am I really? Am I human? Am I this person? Am I my ego, my mind, or am I more than that? And for me, and so being more than that, how would enlighten, transcend, how would someone that is that it relates more to God, universe, presence, consciousness, whatever term you want to use, how does that identity behave? And transcending is behaving in a way. Just, I'm not, would God send a mean text? Would, and well, scratch that, because let me scratch that. Let me scratch that, because now we're getting into God, the universe, experiencing everything. And yes, God would send a text, but it's the knowing that God is working through me, including whatever the experience is, whatever the experience is just part of the journey. My problem comes in when I'm programmed to judge it as good or bad, unwanted, wanted. This is great. This isn't. So transcending is just floating at a different level.
Yeah, okay, floating a different level. You also talked about the mind and not listening to the mind, these stories, just the incessant mind.
I'm not
And
my mind. I'm not my mind.
yeah, I think transcending is going past all of those stories. And the reason I wrote down change was because you've used this analogy with me before about animals and how a giraffe can't be a shark, and a shark can't be a tree, and a tree can't be a snail. It's just a really easy, simple way to understand. I'm not changing who I am. I can't be a different animal, but I can be. This is the word I'm looking for, but a deeper, clearer version of myself. And sometimes there's some confusion for me because I think I'm trying to change who I am.
Are you discombobulated, trying
I'm a
to
little
change?
discombobulated.
Trying to so that entity trying to change is ego, because the ego is always trying to change something, never satisfied with what is. And it's not even about changing. There's nothing that needs to be changed. Oh, the ego does not want to hear that. There's nothing that needs to be changed. There's nothing that needs to be done. Does the sun need to change? Does the bird need to change? That's my take on it, but I love that topic.
Yeah, I love that too, because we don't need to change, but I am in the world of transcending and growing and evolving. So I just want to be clear with myself moment to moment what I'm doing and what I'm not doing.
And who I'm identifying with.
Yes.
Getting back to last week, I shared that I had this tightness in my chest. I shared that last week, didn't I? Yeah, tightness in my chest, and it's been happening for the last 2 months, and it lasts maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, a little bit. It just feels tight, and it just feels like I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay still until it goes away. It's not painful, but it's just tight. And I went to the cardiologist, my first time going to a cardiologist yesterday, and here's the diagnosis. And so he gave me, he listened to my pulse, my ears, and my ankles, and he says, "Well, we're going to do a ultrasound on your heart, and also a heart stress test." Now, the stress test is going to be 4.5 to 5 hours, Nathan, and you're supposed to take a lunch. This is the kicker. I was scheduled for the end of December. It hasn't even been the middle of November. I said, wait a minute, I could be dead before the end of December. And then the doctor and the nurse assured me, she says, if he thought it was something serious, they would get you in, and they use the word stat, S-T-A-T, which means right away. They would get you in tomorrow. This is something that's nothing to be alarmed over, nothing to be upset over. It's just something to know what it is. So I'm scheduled for the end of December. Next time.
Yeah. No, thanks for the live update. And I've had so many run-ins with health and medical and how I respond to it, how I react, what's important, what I think is more important than it is, and usually my MO is thinking it's more important and scarier than it is, and it's me. And I have this belief, it's really a program, that if I don't do something about whatever's going on immediately, I'm gonna be screwed. And nobody else is gonna do anything, and no one else cares like I do. So there's a
Your
lot of
mother
story.
cares. Your mother cares. Come to call your mother. Come stay with your mother. Your mother cares about you.
Weren't you the one laughing at me when I was talking about there was the ear ringing? I was talking about something, and I remember you laughing at me.
He won't let that go. Well, I didn't know that it was. Did you sing it? Mom, I have ringing in my ear, ringing in my ear. Of course, if you deliver a message like that, I'm going to laugh.
Well, I didn't know my ailments were such a comedic hit for you.
Well, they're not. Well, ringing in the ear. Well, let's see. Ringing in the ear compared to foot amputation. Let's see. Which one would you choose?
Well, ringing is a little bit more is a little funnier than a foot amputation. I'll give you that.
That's why I laughed.
But
Because
yeah,
I believe at the time I was having open heart surgery, and you said, "Oh, I got ringing in my ear."
oh yeah, you were doing something too at the time. Well, you're always up to something.
Thank you. Yes. Well, that was a joke that wasn't even funny.
As we have learned to call it, a dud.
Yes, a dud, a big dud, a big letdown. I want to say this, staying on the doctor topic. I do have a podiatrist now that I go to every 3 months or 4 months, and he cuts my toenails, and he not shaves and files down and buffs all this dead skin off my two big toes. And in his office, he has these signs, which are really funny. The first one is, well, this isn't funny. He says, yes, you have to wear shoes at home too. And house slippers, flip flops, and sandals are not shoes.
Oh.
And then the last thing he has jokes pinned all over his office, which I really appreciate. And the last one, he says, no, you don't have the worst feet Dr. Henry has ever seen.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I love the idea of jokes in a doctor's office. I've never even heard of that. What a relief.
Yeah. And, well, I don't know if I told you this, but your mother's gynecologist, when she was living in California, the gynecologist, your feet are in the straps and you're laying back. And on his ceiling, on my gynecologist ceiling, he had one word, big word. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. RELAX, relax. And that was on the ceiling of any of his offices. So I appreciate the jokes.
Yeah, that's so good. Some to the doctor's office, dentist, it can feel really dry and boring and serious for me. I would, if it was my doctor's office, I'd have some music, some classical music. I don't know what's going on with that. Some paint on the walls, but you know, not to be on a crusade to paint all the doctor's office, but that's what I would like.
Yeah, it is a vibe. It is a vibe of seriousness and sterile, and where's the levity? And that's part of all of it, Nathan, is just for me, it's just to stay light. And when I do think that something is serious, I can feel my body, I can feel the heaviness of it. And it is a program that this is serious, this is important. So staying light is key.
Well, what else?
Let me check. Let me see what else I can talk about. Well, let me just share today one of my I teach a foam roller class on Saturday mornings, and one of my students tends to be I don't know. I don't want to say Debbie Downer, negative Nelly. I don't want to say any of that, but yes, she was sharing a story about how her husband has to have surgery as a torn meniscus, and then to add on to all of that, and then it took us a month just to get the appointment, and I don't know why it takes so long to. I said, all right, okay, all right, you have the appointment, don't you? Yeah. Next.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Well, it's kind of a combination of one of my last topics was a talker and what do we do when we're being talked to and talked at? And sometimes it's got to just jump in when you feel like it's time for you to jump in. It sounds like that's what you did.
Yes, I'm always jumping in and jumping out really quickly. But before the show started today, you made mention because you have a cut. You have a new your coif is different and it's very low and I said, "Oh, you're bald. You're baldy. My son is bald." And this kid, this young man, "Oh, hi little girlfriend." And let me see who was that Looney? Was that Looney's
It
tail?
was Luna,
I didn't.
yes.
Yeah, hi Luna, grandma's here. Lord have mercy, somebody shoot me right now. Uh, that would have never come out of my mouth 2 years ago. Never, ever. Cat grandma, never. Where was I? Yeah, so back to I have a son that's bald, but you have the ability. You cut your hair short, you let it long, you have a mohawk, you have one side longer than the other. It's green, it's red, it's a who knows. And then you mentioned that one of your students, because you are a yoga instructor. I'm an ex boot camp instructor. He's a yoga instructor. Can you tell the difference? Back to the story. You said that one of your students gave you a suggestion about your hair. Don't I just love it when people give me unsolicited suggestions.
Yeah, it was absolutely unsolicited, and I do teach many more things other than just yoga.
Oh,
Actually, don't teach yoga as much as the other classes, but yes, I do.
please share what you teach. Please share what you teach.
Well, I do a cardio class. I do dumbbells. We use gliders, steps. Sometimes I'll do a little step aerobics in honor of you, just as a little cardio. Pilates, a lot of different things. But yoga was how it started, and I'm still doing yoga. So anyway, at the gym, the day after, maybe a couple days after I cut my hair, this woman said, "Oh, and by the way, it's too short." She says, she also threw in the long hair was too long. So I forgot she said that until right now, but she said the long hair was too long and this is too short. And she said, I'm just giving it from a woman's perspective. I mean, it was
Well,
just,
tell her to call your mother, and I'll tell her to shut the F up and mind her own business. And guess what? And you're too ugly.
well,
I can't believe I said that.
that,
Did I
that
say
mom,
that out loud?
that mama bear came out. I had a mama bear moment with one of the cats. I'll tell that story after this, but so yeah, I heard that, and in that particular moment, it was more of a comedic response in my body because it was just, I really like the short. I mean, I haven't done short like this in a while. I've been cutting it shorter and shorter and shorter month after month, and I just like, it's just easy, it's clean. She did a good job with it. And so it's just funny that someone decided to say that they basically don't like it. And I
You
really
know what?
like it.
You know what's interesting, and what I would say, what I would counter. I wouldn't say you're ugly, but not to their face. But what I would counter is, well, thank you for your one perspective.
Ooh, yeah, that's great. Because it's true. It is one perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think that this idea that my perspective, this one perspective is the truth, and it speaks for all perspectives, and it really doesn't.
It doesn't, and
And
that's
that was interesting about her saying it from a woman's perspective. I mean, that was just another program of my perspective matches all women's perspective. It's just really interesting.
yeah. So it's one, yeah. It's one woman's perspective.
Yeah.
And that is a, I'm going to throw it in there. That is I was going to say sickness, mental, some kind of issue that, because I used to think that my way was the best way. My way was the highway. My way, yeah, I was very sure that my way was the best way forever. And that's just another program that and that's why the practice is to come up with more than one perspective.
Yeah, and I only have one, and it's not asked for. Someone may ask for it, someone may not, but it's not my job to go broadcasting my perspective, trying to influence somebody else, trying to basically change someone else. I mean, if I can
And
own it, I can have my opinion, but why am I on some mission to get others to agree with me or to
so
influence them?
now you hit on something else, wanting somebody else to be different so I will feel better, wanting someone else to change so I will feel better. And that never works and it never lasts. So this person, it's just really, it's really coming back to the mirror and knowing that my ego is limited on perspectives, and in fact it can only come up with one. So why am I listening to an entity that only manages to have one perspective?
And for me, it's not that she didn't like the hair, it's that she took it upon herself to offer her opinion about me. So we talked about distance and getting closer at the very beginning. And for me, just as an example, that's an example where I'm being asked to create some distance with this person. And that might not even mean I talk to them less or I avoid them. It might not mean any of that. It's just an energetic distancing.
Hmm.
That's what I feel like
Or
with that.
okay, or there's also of have let's have some fun with it. Let's make a joke about it. Let's be lighter about it. And especially if it's something that's triggered me, is it am I able to find the humor in the trigger?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that particular one, I am able, and I was able to find the humor, and we could laugh at it, and we did, and you're ugly, and thanks for your unsolicited advice, ugly ass, and it's still the message of distance.
Hmm. I get it. I
Yeah, but
get
I
that.
love that. I love that humor part too. That's such a big component.
And you're gonna share a story about the girls, the cats.
Yeah, well, I took Luna out for a walk one evening, 3 evenings ago, and that we had a run-in with the neighborhood cat. And there's an outdoor cat that's in our complex that I see every once in a while that already had a fight or a brawl with Lexi probably a year ago. Now, maybe not quite a year ago, but a while ago.
It
And
was the
Lexi got,
same cat.
yes.
That cat would be cat food. Keep going. Dog food. Keep
Well, the
going.
cat is the cat is very sweet with me, but the cats they're not like dogs. They're territorial, they're aggressive. It takes them a long, long time if they ever come around to being friendly with another cat. Anyway, so we were on our walk. We see this neighborhood cat, and the two cats slowly approached each other, and I was just watching it happen because they were going very slow, and Luna seemed fine, and the neighborhood cat was making this sound. It sounded like a sad, sad cry to me. And I thought it was oh, I'm so lonely and the I want to engage with another cat, and I'm so happy another cat.
How did it sound? How did it sound?
It was like like that.
Okay.
Luna looked at me. Yeah. And then, so Luna was really gingerly approaching, and then the neighborhood cat got snapped and came to back Luna up. You know, it attacked her. I mean, you know. And then so Luna backed up, and then I separated the cats, and then we were all three of us were just standing there, and then the neighborhood cat came at us again, and then I gave the neighborhood cat a little nudge.
Kick in the kick. I kicked that cat right into the fence, over the fence.
Well, we love the neighborhood cat, but we can't have, you know, my cats being attacked, you know, for not even anyway. So that was my motherly instinct.
That's 2 times, Dad. That's 2 times. No more chances with this cat. You want to go
I
play
know.
with the neighborhood cat, but don't let that cat get my granddaughters.
I know. Well, she's doing just fine. She's right here, and we had a long talk, and she seemed unfazed. I was probably the most phased out of me and the other cat. And I did feel bad about it. I felt like I caused this. I had some guilt, and this was all my fault. And it was just one of those. The more I mulled it over, all three of us had our own experience, and it's no one's fault unless I want to label it that way. It's no one's fault. It just happened, and I'm moving on. And as far as transcendence goes, I'm transcending all the stories the ego has around this.
Wow, that was a really powerful ending. I love that, really. And so now you just demonstrated what you're talking about, transcending all the stories and staying on it and getting back to the present moment. And it's over. Next moment. It's over. Next moment. Rejoice quickly, recover quickly.
Yeah, next moment. So many next moments. Well, speaking of next moments, we did make it to the end of this show.
Oh, again, and this is our 50th show. And let me tell you something. This almost a year, Nathan, that we've been doing these shows. This is our 50th show today. What an accomplishment. But now it's time to go. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Now it's time to go.
Hey, yo, it's time to go. Yeah. You know what it is. Get into it. Don't act like you don't already know the name. Let's go. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? You heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more. What? I said you heard me. Mother and son making sense out of nonsense. Plus more.